Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I know I always say this, but today I am going to do another very highly requested video, and that is what I do to achieve ab definition. So I believe achieving ab definition is down to two main things, and this is a good diet and effective training. I genuinely believe that diet is the most important factor to sort of achieving your physique goals. Something that I always tell my clients is that it's 80% nutrition and 20% training. So I've spoken about this before, but you can train all you like, and if your diet is crap, then you're just not going to see any progress. So my first tip has got to be to drink water. It's absolutely critical to drink plenty of water. If you think about it, the body is approximately made up of 75% water, and literally every cell in your body needs water to function. So, sorry for the TMI, but a very good way of regulating how much water you are having is the colour of your urine. If your urine is bright yellow, I'm sure you all know this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. If your urine is bright yellow, you are dehydrated. It should be a very, very pale yellow, or obviously completely see-through is like sort of what you should be aiming for. I want pale piss. If you're completely hydrated, then you will burn so much more fat. Drinking water is amazing for speeding up your metabolism. So obviously, the more water you drink, the faster your metabolism will be. So drink more water. When I'm cutting, I try and drink sort of 4 to 5 litres of water a day. It sounds a lot, but all you need to do is honestly just keep a bottle with you at all times and sit through that throughout the day, and you honestly won't even notice you're doing it. It's fine. Getting a bottle that has a straw in it is a lot easier than having a bottle with a screw cap on it, because you can literally just sit there and sip out of it, as opposed to having to unscrew a bottle and drink out of it. I know it sounds lazy, but let's face it, everybody's lazy. When I'm bulking, I don't tend to drink as much water. No particular reason other than the fact when I'm cutting, obviously the aim is sort of ab definition and to decrease my body fat, so I'll drink more water to do that, whereas on my bulk that's not the aim, so I kind of tend to drink I try to drink about 2 to 3 litres of water a day on a bulk. Also, when you're cutting, you will probably be doing a lot more cardio, so you'll be sweating more, and therefore you need to get the water back into your system, so you need to drink more, whereas on a bulk you probably won't be sweating as much, because your training will be different, so I guess therefore you don't need to be sort of replacing that water as much. So a little bit similar to the way you should drink a lot of water to kickstart your metabolism. Also, eating breakfast will really help to kickstart your metabolism too. Great food for breakfast are things like protein, healthy fats, and concentrating on complex carbohydrates as well. So you can get these things from egg. Always eat the egg yolk because the egg yolk is full of healthy fats. Things like avocado, you know. So another tip, I know this is a very controversial topic, but I've always found that decreasing my carbohydrate intake massively helps me to lose that body fat. And I'm not saying cut out carbs altogether, that is not what I'm saying. I am so against cutting out carbs. For me personally and my body type, I have always found that decreasing my carb intake has just really helped. So I guess it's just important to kind of have a little play around. It's a lot about trial and error. Everybody's different, everybody's got different body types. Some people might thrive off carbohydrates, some people like me, I thrive off healthy fats. Everybody's different, so that's what makes it a long process. You have to keep sort of playing around with macros and things like that to find what works for you. So another thing I see all of the time, which I completely get that people think, but is people thinking that doing thousands of sit-ups is going to burn all the fat off their stomach. Unfortunately, you just cannot pick and choose where you lose fat from. Something that I try and bang into people's heads is that you will only ever see ab definition if your body fat percentage is low enough. By doing ab exercises and hundreds of sit-ups each day, there's nothing wrong with that, but all you're doing is growing and conditioning the muscle underneath that fat. And so you'll probably have these great abs, but if your body fat percentage isn't low enough, then you're not going to see them. So this takes us down a completely different route, and that is, how do you reduce your body fat percentage? Now, I guess this is kind of a completely different subject, but at the same time it links in hugely. So the most important thing to remember is when you're trying to reduce your body fat percentage is that as long as your energy output is higher than your energy input, then you will lose body fat. So by doing this, some people choose to increase their cardio level to create that high energy output. Some people choose to decrease the amount they're putting into their body, so they choose to decrease their calories as a way of decreasing their energy input to make sure that their energy output is higher than their energy input, if that makes sense. I think what a lot of people don't understand is that they don't have to eat like a mouse. They can still eat in sort of normal portions. They can eat as much as they want to, as long as they're doing enough activity in order to make sure that their energy output is larger than their energy input, then you can eat what you want. So when I was doing my cut, I lost a lot of fat, and in terms of my calories, they were quite low, but that's okay because I'm quite good at eating low calories, so that was good for me. I also did do quite a lot of cardio too, and in terms of cardio, I did end up doing a lot of continuous cardio, so watching the YouTube kind of gave me a nice distraction, so I actually ended up really enjoying cardio. I also did a lot of HIIT. I did a lot of kind of circuits, so things like squat jumps, step ups, ball slams, everything like that. Really enjoyed that too. That was a really, really good, quick and efficient sort of fat burning thing to do. And I also did a lot of sprinting on the treadmill. So there was this thing called Speed Shift on the treadmills, and you could basically select one high speed, which would be your high speed, and then your low speed. So what I would do is, I'm trying to remember now, it was a while ago. I think I was doing 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So I would do 30 seconds on the high speed and then click to the low speed and do 30 seconds on the low speed, and I was doing that like 10 times round, and it would take me, obviously it would take me 10 minutes to do, so it was brilliant if I was short for time. But I would also say walking is an amazing way of losing fat. Personally, I didn't actually do a lot of walking. I didn't really have time for it. I don't know. I'm not a big walker, but I guess walking is amazing because it's not strenuous on the body. It can be made into quite a social thing as well. I don't know if you've got a dog or you like going on long walks with your family. So yeah, it's quite an enjoyable thing to do, as well as not being like, it's not intense obviously. It's not really hard work, which means that you can do it for longer periods of time and therefore you'll be burning more calories. So, you know, walking's a really good one too. I think I'm going off track here a little bit, so I will make a video on this, sort of going into a little more detail, but I just want to talk about ab definition. Yeah, so going back to the whole ab exercise thing, it's great to do those ab exercises because you will be building the muscle up, but you've just got to remember you're never going to see that ab definition if your body fat isn't low enough. So yeah, you need to make sure that you're doing enough activity or sort of restricting your calories in order to get that body fat low enough to see the abs. So just moving on from ab exercises, but most of the time you won't actually see me doing any form of ab exercises. I can't actually remember the last time I did any ab work, and this is purely based on the fact that I find that if you engage your core enough when you're doing your big lifts, so things like your squats, your deadlift, anything really, as long as you're engaging your core, that's going to be sort of strengthening it anyway. So I find that I actually don't need to do much ab work. My abs are there. When I go into the gym, as long as my posture's good and I'm engaging my core, then that's going to really help develop my abs anyway. I don't know, for me personally, I just hate training abs. It's not my favourite thing to do. I'd rather be training the booty. So yeah, abs has kind of taken a back seat since I started bulking. But I'm kind of feeling I might regret that when it comes to my cut. But I will just tell you the ab exercises I think are the best ones anyway. First one is cable crunches, second one is leg raises, and third one decline crunches. I just think they work the core very well. Okay, so something I went really, really wrong on my last cut, and I knew it was wrong. I'm a qualified fitness instructor. I know what I'm talking about, I know what I'm doing, but I was just being so stupid. I had a very, very short time to lose the fat that I wanted to lose, get lean. I was going on holiday, so I was doing whatever it took to lose that fat, and to some people they would probably think that wasn't healthy. To me, it wasn't too bad while I was doing it, but looking back on it now, it caused me to lose so much strength, and I did lose a lot of muscle mass too, which is like, So, if you're doing a cut or you're trying to lose fat, then one of the most important things to remember is to carry on doing your weight training. So it's so important to keep doing this and keep building up your muscle mass. So more muscle mass will, oh my god, I'm gonna sneeze. I always sneeze when I'm filming. So more muscle mass will result in a higher BMR, and therefore you will burn more calories. Your BMR is basically the amount of calories that you'll burn when you're just kind of like sitting around. So people with a higher mass will burn more calories than an individual with a lower mass, because their body needs more calories to maintain that mass, if that makes sense. So weightlifting is not only good for this reason, but weightlifting in itself burns calories too. You do not need to sort of chill on the treadmill for 2 hours at a time. That is so boring. You will be so bored. You will probably start to hate it. I honestly think you can burn the same amount of calories doing a few sets of squats than you can walking on a treadmill for 30 minutes. Something I completely neglected while doing my cut was my squats, my deadlifts, all my compound movements, and now I am back, well, I was back to square one because all that strength just went out the window. It's such a good idea to carry on doing all of your weight training, all those big movements. Basically just turn your body into a calorie burning machine. I will just quickly mention another thing I wasn't going to mention, but I think I will because I do actually get asked about it quite a lot, and it's a little bit like the carbohydrate thing. It's, do you cut kind of bread out of your diet? I always used to have this thing where I was adamant that bread bloated me out and sort of prevented me from losing that fat on my belly. But I actually found when I was cutting that I was still eating quite a lot of bread, and I ate pasta most days as well, and it wasn't really causing any sort of bloating or any negative effects for me. It may be different for somebody else, but for me it wasn't a problem. The only negative effect that bread was causing me was a massive dent in my calories. So I guess with the whole bread thing, as to whether you should keep it in your diet when you're cutting or trying to sort of gain some ab definition, that's just something that you're going to have to experiment with. I can't give you the answer to that. Bread is fine for me, it doesn't really cause much an effect for me, but it might be completely different for somebody else. So I hope this kind of answered a few questions. I know it was a little bit brief, but I just feel like I like to keep things nice and simple for you guys to sort of understand and take in. So yeah, to kind of conclude, I believe that the key to sort of ab definition is honestly a good diet and effective fat burning. And I honestly believe that anybody can get ab definition if they want to. As long as you've got a good nutrition plan and your activity levels are nice and high and you are definitely in a calorie deficit, then of course you're going to burn fat and you will see abs. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. I kind of love doing the sit down videos with all the sort of facts and knowledge, things like that. So if you do want to see more like that, then please let me know in the comment section, or you can inbox me over on my Instagram profile, which is annie.lucyfitness. And yeah, so I guess I'll see you in the next one.